that is on my mind seems a little bit urgent. I want to talk a little bit about potential prophetical fulfillment, as corny as that might sound, but I think when we look around ourselves right now, it's kind of hard to write all that off, especially some of the Native American prophecies that are highly specific. And, we'll get to that. And then also I want to mention the AI cryptocurrency thing because I had been pushing that for a minute and then my life blew up and I wasn't paying attention and it happened. They all took off and it's going to continue to happen. So it's something I know there are people in this community that are, into crypto and looking for ways to empower themselves and people like them. And I feel like this is our last hurrah. This is like our last push, before Babylon is in Babylon's Asunderman, So what's up, Northern Light? It tells me I have 0 people, so it's good that you said something in the chat because I was gonna get sad. I mean, not really, but so yeah, 30-hour bus ride, totally terrible. It got rerouted because of a mudslide, I guess, and they didn't stop for food. There's no toilet. Like, it was insane and pretty awful. But now I'm in Cusco, about 2 hours from Pisac, so I'm probably going to go take possession of my new house tomorrow or the next day. And I wanted to share a little bit with you guys about how this community has responded to me so far, because it really is remarkable. And that kind of brings us to the prophecy. I don't even recall where exactly this comes from. I mean, it's pretty common knowledge. The condor and the eagle, there's that one, and then there's also Rolling Thunder, who came and met with the Grateful Dead in 1966 or something, saying that Garcia was going to be the leader of these rainbow people, and obviously that actually happened. And so my anticipation about this was that we were being kind of called to Pisac because this has always been a gathering place, always a sacred space. There's several of them actually. There's the Pisac ruins, which are there's some on the thumbnail, and then there are also these spiraling rock formations, and then of course Machu Picchu is I think an hour away or something. So the jungle's nearby. I mean, it's absolutely ideal. And I posted in some groups that I was looking for people to network with and links to my YouTube channel, and a lot of people reached out. And it's not just that a lot of people reached out, it's the quality of those people and their obvious sincerity. One of them actually, her bio is identical to mine almost, which is really odd. Alchemy and the Western occult tradition and ayahuasca and outlaw off, outside of society since she was a teenager and stuff. So there's really, really like-minded people there. And I read a blog that she wrote, and it was really impressive. She actually really knows her stuff to an extent that I, other than Blavatsky, I definitely haven't seen anyone in recent memory that knows this stuff as well as she does. Besides myself, of course. I mean, I'm sorry, but I had to say it. But you know what I mean? People generally adopt one of the popular narratives and they learn that, and if they can monetize it, then they use it. That's what spirituality has become, sadly enough. And I'm getting the feeling that the people there in Pisac are not necessarily cut from that cloth. Some of them are, for sure. But it's really looking like my landlord is super nice and it's super authentic. So I really feel like this is the situation that I've been looking for in the community I've been looking for, and probably the community a lot of you were looking for as well. So, yeah, I've drank kava kava. I've never noticed any kind of effect from it at all. So, yeah, it's a little bit crazy to be, finishing the mission, sin familia, without my family. What didn't see that coming? But here I am, and I've just really had to decide to, not let it subtract anything from me that I need. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm going way up into the mountains. I'm not going to be in Pisac. I'm going to be up in the hills near Pisac so I can get there easily, but I'll be middle of nowhere, have an extra room if anybody wants to come and work one-on-one. Yeah, and so, I just want to touch on a couple of quick things because it's late. I got to go to sleep. I got to wake up early and get the hell out of here because it's about time I made it to Pisac, right? So, Um, Obviously you have two choices when something like this happens to you, heartbreak like this. You can cave and you can fold, and you can let it make you more cynical and jaded, or you can stumble, which I definitely did for real hard. Little somersault, flipped, kind of landed on my feet and kept moving, which is what you got to do. So I'm just using it as fuel without animosity, to just continue to build myself up, to look at the mistakes that were elucidated by the, relationship, the things that I let slip past me, that I shouldn't have. And I'm just correcting all those things with tenfold vengeance, rather than curling up in a ball, which I kind of want to do, or, whining or like drinking myself to death or something like, all those things are on the table. But well, instead what I'm going to do is a body transformation video. When I get it to the house, I'm going to film my out of shape, flabby stomach, 44 years old, and I'm going to blow everybody's expectations out of the water. And I'm going to recommit to my plant medicine practices on a whole nother level, and my health practices, and really trying to engineer a diet. It's not like I eat junk food or something. I don't, but, and I, mostly organic and local and all that, but still I could optimize everything even more, and I know that, and I should have been doing that all this time. So, it's like this kind of crisis gave me the opportunity to just kind of do, what's it called when you look, you count your boxes of cereal in the grocery store and stuff, inventory, and figure out, what was slipping, and then I'm just gonna ram that shit as hard as possible. And it seems like the perfect place to do it. So I'm thinking I need about a month of just working on myself. I'm gonna be playing a lot of music up there, and drinking a lot of medicine. And then if you guys want to start coming down, I would recommend that you do it. And if you can figure out how to do it without a return plan, that's probably advisable. The US is going to hell. This is not a joke. This is not a test. This is not, you know what I mean? Everyone knows by now. Like, I don't need to say this, but you need to stop, like, I've learned a lot about denial in the last week with this relationship and stuff, and I guess I was good about it on the big picture. I can see all the things that the majority of people are in denial about, but on the micro scale, I think I was maybe missing quite a lot, But that's the reality, And so I also want to mention the AI crypto. I'm really bummed about this because I really like to try to keep you guys aware of whatever opportunities that I'm hip to at any given moment. I knew the AI cryptos, whether the token is good or not, was going to explode and make people huge amounts of money really, really fast. And we really need that because we don't have a lot of time to secure property. People need visas and shit, you know what I mean? Like, we got to get it together and move quickly. So it happened about time that Enrique and I split up. The bunch of tokens launched and they all blew fucking out of the water, all kinds of records. And it's still happening, so I'm just encouraging you guys, if you care about that sort of thing, get your eyes on it. I'm gonna when I land, I'm gonna start, really shopping around and using AI to kind of evaluate like what's what. But that's it. We're getting gangster G'd up from the street up. I mean, this beat my meat up, but I just, what are you gonna do but just get stronger and faster? My internet's pretty choppy. I really was surprised when I realized the extent that I was able to, engage selective perception and whatnot after years and years and years of training myself not to do that. I could do it with a relationship. But I noticed something kind of funny when I got down here that, I was talking about losing yourself in a relationship and whatnot, and I had thought for years that my sex drive had just disappeared because I was getting older. And now I realized that I knew that wasn't true, and I had convinced myself that it was true so that I could remain in this relationship. And then as soon as I got away from it, I'm down here with all these like aggressive Latin girls, and I'm like, that was not real. It was not real, And I just convinced myself of something in order to stay in this situation, So highly personal there, I know, but I just thought it was such a huge thing that I was able to do that kind of psychological gymnastics despite all of the work that I've done to protect myself from that sort of thing. was just really wild to see, you know, and also just how short of an amount of time, just a little bit of perspective, you know. And the other bit of advice that I wanted to offer about that is that, you know, I'm of course a huge advocate of mindfulness. You know, I try to monitor my thoughts all the time and really stay on top of analysis. And but you know, it's a very slippery slope, and it can be very difficult. And the consequences of losing the continuity of that mindfulness can be pretty devastating. So, you know, this is just something that I think we all have to constantly remind ourselves and double down. You know, I think COVID and the way it set me back financially and kind of like threw my whole lifelong trajectory off, I really never quite, like, it just got worse and worse, you know, like it's just, it just beats you down and beats you down and beats you down and beats you down, you know what I mean? And I don't think I had really realized the extent that I had become sort of jaded, and like I hadn't given up, but I had been damaged, you know, a lot. And I guess maybe it was like today on the bus that I was just riding along and I realized circumstances changed, I did not. So that kind of gave me, you know, a sort of sense of power again, that I could tap back into that confidence that I used to have, and the enthusiasm that I used to have, and the determination that I used to have that has definitely waned. I mean, it's still strong, I think, but it was not enough. You know, it's not enough for me, and it hasn't been enough to get the job done, you know. And now that I have cleared the air, I guess, of distractions, now I'm doubling down in every area. And I think even though, you know, I can blame COVID to an extent, it's also true that as we approach this pivotal moment, the consequences of not maintaining our trajectory are going to be more and more intense and more immediate, right? So it's just really important that we all double down and really, you know, increase our efforts to prepare for a major shift. And I do think it's good ultimately, but I think we need to be realistic as well and realize that we need to prepare for a very rough patch in the interim, probably, you know. So that's it, guys. I'm going to, like I said, get to Pisac in the next day or two, and then I can actually set up my laptop and my microphone and my camera and my guitar, and it'll be so nice to settle in and get to work in a space that I have control over. You know, there's no one coming and going but me. That'd be a really nice way to cocoon up, but I don't have a lot of time for that. You know, we all need to get to work. So, and please, you know, network with each other and communicate. If you find tools that are helpful, if you find courses that are helpful, you know, we have the Discord. Everybody can connect in there and network, and, you know, this is it. This is the grand finale, the swan song and epilogue of the human race. So better make something of it. I'll see you guys.